Hey everyone, good morning. I guess we're leaning towards afternoon. Welcome to the Google Cloud User Group session. Thank you for joining us today. Today we want to talk about leveling up FinOps. So the agenda today, we're going to get right into it and talk about inform, optimize, and operate. We are so passionate about these three pillars that this is how we're organized internally. Our product, engineering, and design teams are all organized around these three pillars. And we're going to talk about a lot of exciting updates today. Raise your hand if you were at the keynote today hearing Sarah's updates about Google Cloud. Yay, wow! Okay, great turnout. How exciting was that? So today we're actually going to deep dive. There we go, some claps in the back. So today we're actually going to deep dive into some of those feature announcements and get really granular into how they work and how you can find out more about each and every feature. We're also going to have a Q&A at the end of this session so that you can talk directly to us and our engineers. And so we're going to bring our engineering management and our engineering leads on stage to answer your questions directly. That's how passionate we are about this. And of course, after the session, we'll be here to answer any questions as well. So on to the future. Let's get into this. So before we get into each one of the different pillars, I want to just give a quick recap. And Sarah talked a little bit about this in this morning's keynote. Let's go walk in history for a second. In 2021, Google Cloud joined the FinOps Foundation. Why is that important? Well, we heard our users. We heard that our users care about cloud cost spend, how to manage it, and optimize it. We heard them loud and clear. So we wanted to put our money where our mouth is and really invest in that problem space. We're the first cloud service provider to do so because we care about our users. In 2022, we went to the inaugural FinOps X conference in Austin. And can you imagine, it was so much warmer than here today in San Diego. And so there we were named the Partner of the Year, and we got the Partner of the Year award for that conference. And so last year we stood up on the stage and we talked about how billing is thrilling, and we walked through all of our user experiences and how we are giving configurability and options and usability to our users to work through their FinOps challenges. And today we're going to talk about how Google Cloud is leveling up FinOps. Before I get into it and hand it off to some of my team, I did also want to say that we have a lot of our leadership in the room as well today. We have our UX leadership, Ruchi, over here. We have our engineering management leadership, Charan, Cynthia, and our product leadership as well with Milan, Sarah, Pravir, and more. So let's get right into it. So let's talk through the inform pillar. I want to welcome Gautam to the stage, who's going to talk about some exciting new updates.
Thank you, Rupa. Thank you. It's nice to see you all here. We know that managing cloud costs is a huge priority for your companies, and you all spend a lot of time understanding your costs. Oops. It takes a lot of time to drill down to the right cost drivers, understand where your costs are coming from, and then to go take action on all of this. So today, we are launching Gemini for FinOps. This is not about AI. This is about helping all of you with the tasks and workflows that you do to make them easier and to save you time. So let's go through what a typical workflow would look like today. So a lot of you use our Google Cloud Billing Console. The cost reports is where you find your costs, and you go through a few steps here. First is you narrow down to the right cost groups using the filters to get the right cost data. Next, you might manually download and analyze this data to get the right insights and summarize what's happening. And third, you might frequently need to go to BigQuery to dive deeper. You will need to recreate what you see here in BigQuery by writing a SQL query to access this data. So quick show of hands, how many of you have done some part of this process? That's great, that's a lot of you. So we are trying to reimagine, how do we make this easier for you? How do we save time for you in all of this? And for that, we're doing it with the introduction of Gemini in FinOps. Gemini is Google's latest set of AI models, and we are applying it to your workflows and your tasks to make them easier to do. So if you have any question about your costs, you can just ask Gemini. So why did my costs go up last month? Or what were my storage costs last week? And Gemini will create the right cost report for you to give you the source data for you to be able to answer your question. So it's not magically just answering the question for you, it's giving you that data that will help you answer that question. But that's not all. Gemini also provides you a summary of key insights. So what is happening in this cost report? What's driving your costs? And over time, we want to add second and third order insights. So things that you might not see in this particular report, but we know what you might want to look at next, so we'll go find that out for you. And there's more. If you want to switch to BigQuery and go deeper into your costs, we allow you to generate a BigQuery for every single cost report. And I'll show you how this works. We have a set of QR codes up there. So if you're interested in what you're seeing, just scan the QR code and sign up to be a part of our private preview. So let's look at how generate a BigQuery would work here. Typically you would have to go write up a full SQL query to match this data. All you need to do is click Generate Query. It'll drop you in the BigQuery UI with the query written up. This will perfectly recreate all the info that you saw in your cost report. Now, we know that you can't be right part of the time when you're looking at FinOps data and understanding what's happening. 98% accuracy will not cut it. You need to be right every single time. So we worked hand in hand with Google's research teams to prioritize accuracy over all else. And one thing you might have noticed is we always keep you in context of your source data. So any question you ask, we give you the data that you could use to answer it, and you could use to verify what exactly is happening. So this is not a magical AI that will answer all your questions. This is an AI that allows you to do the tasks that you do and get to the answers a little faster by automating your tasks. Now, I'll hand it back to Rupa to talk about focus.
Thank you, Gautam. Who's excited about Gemini and Cloud Assist? Great. So now I want to talk a little bit about focus and what our investments are. So we have been core contributing to the focus standard since the v0.5 and the preview for the v1 specification. Why? Because we care about our users being able to compare costs across different clouds. We don't want them spending time on that problem. We want them spending time on innovating in their core competencies. So we are also Sarah's part of the steering committee for Focus. I'm a maintainer, and we have lots of core contributors in the audience as well that have contributed to the standard. So what have we provided? So we have provided two things. One, a BigQuery view. What is a BigQuery view? A BigQuery view is a SQL query that sits on top of our BigQuery exports. So basically, we offer, as you guys know, 3 exports today. We offer our detailed billing export, standard billing export, and pricing export. What you can do is you can combine our detailed billing export that gives you those granular resource costs, combine them with the pricing export. And the SQL query for Focus, what it does is it pulls all that great data, and it basically helps adapt it towards the Focus specification. So you can basically copy-paste the code in the guide that we provided with this QR code and actually generate a view for Focus immediately. There's no lag time. You can immediately generate your data in the Focus specification without waiting for 24 hours or even any period of time. You can just load up the SQL code and run that query. There's also no storage costs associated with this because it just takes the existing data that you have and moves it towards this specification. So definitely take a look and let us know what feedback you have. Additionally, we are providing a Looker template that allows you to basically visualize, filter, and query on your data also and see the amazing visualizations that we have provided for this template. And if you want, you can even bring in your costs from other clouds into these templates and even use some of our native AI capabilities to also make more sense of it. So with our suite, we're very excited to support this now and in the future for our commitment towards open billing standards. So if you scan that code, you will get access to a guide. If you sign up immediately, it will immediately download. For those of you who are on the preview guide, that will be automatically updated also to reflect the latest. So I want to talk about observability, and specifically about GKE, topic of the town. At Next, we were proud to announce that we provided the ability for you to look at your wasted costs, your fleet utilization, and your core utilization and underutilization through this out-of-the-box Looker template. So what we did is we partnered with a cloud monitoring team who has come out with a preview for their metrics. And so those metrics are in BigQuery. So we combine them with our detailed billing export, where in GKE we have cluster, namespace, and pod level costs. So now you can actually go into this out-of-the-box Looker template and actually see those specific metrics to monitor your resource allocation and your utilization across cores. We have many different pages in this Looker template, and this is just the start of what we're able to do with observability. So if you scan that QR code, you'll be able to see a blog post where you can actually sign up for this preview. It's not a FinOps talk unless we're talking about granular costs, and so we also have recently announced 5 new services. Our goal, of course, is to provide coverage across all of your services for this granular resource level costs so that you can access what are actually the teams and departments that are running up these different costs. How can I actually conduct chargeback and showback accurately? And then taking that one step further, how can I forecast and optimize with understanding those resources? So we are very excited about cloud logging, the ability to see your log bucket level costs in our detailed export. We have actually launched Alloy DB, which is managed workloads. You don't see that here because we just launched that. So you have the ability to see your cluster and instances, and we're going to be launching backup resources for that next week. And then one thing you guys will be very excited about, because we've heard this loud and clear, is this year we'll also be launching reservations for BigQuery, so you can be able to see your reservation level costs for BigQuery in BigQuery, which is a bit meta. And so definitely, take a look at our exports. We're only ever investing in the granular costs for this, and there's a lot more to come. Latency. Sarah mentioned this earlier today. We have reduced latency drastically across the billing platform. So from the time that usage is generated to the time that you see those cloud costs in those surfaces that we provide for billing, that's what we're defining as latency. And P99 is 99% of your costs you're able to see them in under 24 hours. So what does this unlock for you? Well, this actually allows for faster cost visibility, faster cost management, budget and alerting, forecasting, just better overall cost management and optimization capabilities. So with that, I'm going to pass it to Alfonso to talk about Optimize.
Hello, everyone. It's great to be here with you in San Diego. My name is Alfonso Hernandez, and I'm a product manager in Cloud FinOps. And I deal with the optimization experiences. So I see a lot of customers here. I see Frank, Matt, Keith. So it's great to have you here, Narciso, of course, and many others. Just as Rupa was talking about the different team members that we have here, I also want to acknowledge that I have my 2 engineering leaders here that are working in the experience I'm going to be describing. So Yubing and Karanjit, if you have any questions at the end, they will be happy to hear from you. And more so, if you find them around, they will love to hear how you're using the products they are building. So with that, I'll go ahead. So my talk is about optimization, and I will be covering how we are optimizing or how we are leveling FinOps in the optimization space. So based on the latest State of the FinOps report, the 2 key priorities for practitioners are reducing waste and managing costs. So how many of you, please raise hands if these resonate with you, if you have these challenges. Are these the right ones? Frank, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, okay, many of you. Awesome. So the good news is we have some products that are directly addressing these needs, and I'll be covering them over the next slides. So FinOps Hub, the central command center for anything cost optimization across Google Cloud. FinOps Hub was launched last year in a private preview here in this same forum. And fast forward to today, this is a generally available offering. Thank you for all your support, and thank you for all the feedback. Now this is generally available, and it can help you identify idle resources, right-size your instances, and of course, rate optimize your commitments. We have been adding features, like now we allow you to understand your cost-saving opportunities, not only by GCP service, but you can filter by projects, so the customers can optimize the way they like. We added FinOps Core since the private preview, and we have been hearing a lot of feedback and a lot of enthusiasm about that. So that's the first one. Second one, idle recommendations. Idle reservation recommendations. So this is a year of Gen AI, GPUs, TPUs, those resources are scarce, and people make reservations, so they are available for whenever they need them. But then they may forget, and Google is holding those resources for you, so you are paying for them. So now FinOps Hub identifies idle GCE reservations by analyzing 7 days of data. So if any reservation has no attached resources for 7 days, we'll highlight it, and you can take action and reduce your waste. Now, for some of you, 7 days may not be the right period, so we allow you to configure the look-back period. Is it 3 days, 2 days? You can do it directly in the CLI. And of course, as with any cost recommendations in FinOps Hub, we tell you how much you stand to save by taking action. So this is what it looks like. You'll see it in FinOps Hub. In this case, it's showing in one of the top recommendations. You have a GCE reservation that you are not using. You can save up to $1,000 by taking action. Then this is what the insight will look like. It will tell you the reservation name, the location where the reservation is provisioned, how many resources, and the look-back period, or the insight shows you when the observability period was enacted. And moving on, we have a private preview for a new experience for unified commitment analysis. This is allowing you to do better data-driven decisions for your committed use discounts. We understand and we hear from customers that they use day in and day out our cut analysis, but there were opportunities. The UI had 2 different sections, one for resource-based commitment and a different one for your spend-based commitments. And you wanted, or we heard feedback that it would be very helpful if we brought everything together so you don't have to be moving around different refreshes and different sections of the UI. One thing I want to highlight is that this solution is free. We offer daily granularity and hourly granularity without any cost. Now, in unified commitment analysis, one of the feedback we hear from customers was, okay, hourly granularity is the right thing I need, and I want to be able to analyze longer periods of time. So now, in this private preview, you can go beyond weeks, months, or even years in hourly granularity. So you can analyze and dig deeper into where your opportunity lies, and if there's a gap in your utilization, you can pinpoint the time when things are dropping down, so you can take action. We also modified the table that articulates the value of how much you're saving with cut recommendations, so you can make the case to your management and explain the value you're providing to the organization and explaining the return on the investment. One more thing, this supports all the commitment types we have: flex, cut recommendations, spend-based, any type of spend recommendations, resource recommendations, and as I mentioned, and I'll say it again, no limitation in the look-back period. So you can analyze the whole period you want to see. Thank you. Now, moving on, this is exciting. So we heard from customers. We talked to a lot of you about cut recommendations, and we hear the feedback that you guys love it, that you use it, you feel that the recommendation is accurate and to the point, but 30 days of look-back period does not cut it. You need to go deeper. We also hear that there are times when you had an abnormal period, Christmas, Black Friday, or perhaps you were running a test, an experiment, and you loaded your capacity, and you see a spike in your usage. But that's not the pattern that you will see. So you want to remove those periods that were abnormal. We also heard from some of you that it will, in many cases, you want to make the purchase, but you need to work with management. And there are 2 aspects that you guys need to work, or you need to be empowered to do these conversations. One, you need to understand the break-even point. And two, you need to be able to share what you are seeing so the management can approve that purchase. So I'm super excited and super pumped to share with you scenario modeling. So the way it works is the same recommendation you have today. That will be the basis. From there, we have a button where you can model your scenario, and we are expanding from the look-back period from 30 days all the way to 180 days. So you don't have to go to code analysis to validate if the pattern has been the same. It's directly in the UI of the scenario modeling. You can remove those abnormal periods. You can say from this date to this date, I don't want to consider or for those values to be factored in the recommendation. We are now offering what we are calling usage insights. So you can understand how much you need to use your resources for to break even with this purchase. And finally, we have share your URL. So whatever parameters you model, whatever changes you made to the recommendation, you can share it with others. So whenever they open it, all those values will be factored in, and they will be able to see the same thing you saw. So faster collaboration, faster approvals, and hopefully a very interactive experience for you to model and get to the right business decision through commitments. So this scenario modeling, and Karanjit is the brains behind the operations. If you have any questions, we will be here at the end to answer as many as we can. But this is not all. FinOps Hub, as some of you may have heard in the previous presentation, we are expanding beyond just dollars. At Alphabet, green energy and being carbon neutral has been in the core. In fact, I think Sarah said since 2007, Google or Alphabet has been carbon neutral. And our products reflect that. If you use Google Maps, you can find the most carbon efficient routes. With Nest, same thing. It adjusts your thermostat, so you are saving on energy and are helping the environment. There's all sorts of products that reflect this carbon. So how is FinOps Hub expanding or using carbon into the reporting? So FinOps Hub now includes carbon reporting, so you can optimize not only for cost, but for carbon efficiency. Our FinOps Hub will provide granular breakdown of your cloud emissions, not only by usage, not only by project, service, and GCP region. It follows the standards greenhouse gas protocols, and we are offering location-based carbon calculations. In the future, we are adding market-based, so you have all the different metrics to optimize your cloud, not only for money, but for carbon efficiency. With this, we hope you can set your goals to identify your carbon goals, and then use this information to identify emission hotspots, set, track, and achieve your sustainability goals. And of course, you can also use this information to find the most efficient carbon regions to deploy your resources. So you don't need, we're shifting left. So before you even deploy the resources, you can see what are the regions that are best for your emissions. So also, as I mentioned, the recommendations page now in FinOps Hub will show the region, next to the regions, whenever there's a carbon efficient region, we'll show the carbon leaf. So you can start learning and identifying where some of these regions are more efficient than the others, and you can use that to deploy your resources. And with that, I will pass it to Shruthi.
All right, hi everybody. Operate pillar. So as part of the operate pillar, one of our goals is to help you identify, control, and manage any cost overruns and or surprises. And as a positive step in this direction, at Google Cloud Next in this year, we announced and launched our cost anomaly detection product in a private preview. As part of this launch, what we do is we identify any cost or spend anomalies across each individual GCP project. And this is a standard, free, out-of-the-box product available on your billing console. And the spikes or anomalies that we identify are near real time. And each anomaly comes with a detailed root cause analysis that includes the top drivers that are contributing to the spike or anomaly. It includes services, regions, and SKU. Additionally, we enabled the ability for you to specify a cost impact threshold to make sure that you are only viewing significant anomalies, anomalies that you deem significant. And we take that threshold and we pre-filter your view for a default view of significant anomalies. Now, how are we doing this and why is it meaningful? So we look back at 6 months of your spend behavior, pattern, and trends, and we identify or estimate an expected daily spend across each individual project. And then if your actual spend goes over that expected spend, we trigger an anomaly. Additionally, we also update our models for update hourly, and most of our services report their usage costs hourly. So what that means, and that in addition to what Rupa said earlier about the improvements in latency, that actually means like P99 of your anomalies are identified within the same day. So that makes it more meaningful and timely for you. Now, what do we have today for FinOps X? What are the new enhancements that we are introducing in this product? The biggest and the key one is, as requested by most of you who are enrolled in the private preview, is alerts and notifications. We have enabled alerts and notifications through 2 key channels, including Pops Up for programmatic access and emails. As part of email alerts, you have the ability to set it up for your billing admins, essential contacts, project owners, and set it up for desired cadence that includes individual anomalies and daily summaries. Individual anomalies means you'll get an alert for every anomaly that's identified, and daily alerts would actually summarize all of your anomalies for that day and send it in one email. Additionally, we have also set up a self-serve setup of cost impact threshold. This is the same threshold that I referred to earlier, where you decide what are significant anomalies for you, and this threshold will help you do that. So that will pre-filter your default view on the billing console, and it will also make sure that the alerts that you receive are also significant in nature. And all of this is a one-time setup, easy to do, but you can also come back and change it or update it at any time. Further, we have also added the ability for you to provide feedback on every anomaly. Now, what this feedback is, you can tell us through this feedback whether it's an expected anomaly, an expected anomaly, or a false positive. Now, why should you give us the feedback? Is because this is your opportunity to actually influence and train our AI models to help us make sure that we are constantly adapting to your changing business needs, and thereby lower any false positives. And lastly, we are also making anomalies available via CSV download. This is the QR code. As I said, this is still in private preview, but if you can sign up through this QR code and be onboarded to this experience. I'm actually going to head directly into a Q&A, and for that, I would like to invite our lovely team, our engineers, and the product managers up on the stage. Yubing, Jingjay, Karanjit, who have been a part of the team for all these wonderful announcements and developing these products, and you've already met our other product managers. So first, we want to start with Q&A. Ask us whatever it is you have, any questions about these products, any questions, feedback about your issues, we would like to know that.
Over here. I'm the Q&A lady.
Thanks for sharing anomaly detection feature. So is there a BQML model behind which is working?
Is there a BQML?
BQML model, machine learning model, which is behind?
Yes. We cannot exactly provide the details of which model is working behind, but we have AI models working behind this that analyze your spend behavior, your trends, all your patterns and then like basically to identify spikes for you.
This is the same AI that powers the majority of Google Cloud products and Alphabet products, so it's gold standard. Okay. Yep.
I have several, but I'll pick the two quickest ones. Yeah. Will the carbon reporting be available ever in the bill at a line item level?
Okay. And I could provide a little bit of explanation and then give it to Alfonso as well. So will it ever be in the bill itself? So that's a future product roadmap item that's like future though. So we can't comment as to when or where that'll fit, but I'll tell you from a product strategy standpoint, it won't be in the invoice. It will always be on the console. Like when we say the bill, like you get a PDF for your invoice, right? That's the legal document that Google Cloud provides you and that accounting takes. We separate that from the description and the granular cost detail and insights in the console. So you'll see within the console more and more carbon insights kind of being filtrated amongst the billing console. That is a future roadmap. I don't know if you want to say anything else, Alfonso, but.
Can I follow up?
I'm going to give it to someone else just because there's lots of other questions. But reach these guys. They'll be in the booth, so grill them. Okay. All right.
Thank you. So we use BigQuery. We had the chat. We use BigQuery for analyzing multi-cloud. We're bringing other cloud data into BigQuery, massage it, and put a looker in top of it. Does the looker provide Gemini, or Gemini only available through the console?
Yeah, I can answer that. So Cloud Assist and our AI products across Google work across tons of cloud products. And that includes BigQuery and Looker separately, as well as our billing console. So this is actually a very well and deeply integrated tool that you can actually activate. So whether you want to go into BigQuery and have your SQL query explained to you, or even kind of workshop it within that panel, you can do that. Whether you want to go into Looker itself and actually have Ask Looker be able to explain you dashboards or help kind of configure new views, you can do that as well. So these are all tools that are deeply embedded across Google Cloud.
Thank you. Yes, okay.
Thank you. With respect to CUD scenario modeling, good we have a 6 months look back. Can you also consider for future going back to 3 years? Reason is, when you give the recommendation of CUD purchase, give the 3 years based on how it is, 3 year, how many to purchase CUDs, and also on top of it, how many we should purchase 1 year so that we can efficiently use it. Otherwise, if we go with all 3 years, we may down the road 6 months later, because you used 6 months look back, possibly that we may get into a CUD waste.
Quite understand the question.
I think it's more of a feature request question, but I think Karanjit has.
If I understand correctly, you're talking about purchasing a 3-year card and a 1-year card on top of it, right? Is that the question?
So yes, every time when we purchase, we don't want to purchase always predicting that, in 3 years we are going to have all utilized correctly. Say if we need 3,000, we may want to buy 2,000 of them for 3 years and the rest of the 1,000 for the 1 year, so that down the road, if it reduces, then we are still efficient usage of CUD.
Okay, I think now I got it. Thank you for explaining that. I think that's a roadmap item we have. We definitely want to do more than that. We also want to help you blend in between different type of commitments. So stay tuned. This is our MVP. We wanted to remove the friction and all the problems that we hear from customers and start that process. But yeah, we'll get there.
I think there's somebody there, Sarah.
Thank you for sharing the anomaly detection. One question I have is, you mentioned the alerts and notifications, but as far as tracking the progress that we are going to take action on this notification, is there a place on the hub where we can track that?
Yeah, that is again a feature request. At this point on the console, there is nothing for you to actually track the life cycle. You mean like basically if you identify an anomaly, how can I let my engineers know about it? And if I can track the progress of whether the engineers took the action and eventually resolve the anomaly. Right now, no, but this is something that we know is important and is something we are considering for the future. But for now, like the pub/sub notifications should actually help you integrate with your own systems, your Slack and like emails, etc., to help you actually track that internally.
From a product perspective, our first, as Shruthi was mentioning, our first step at this is to integrate with whatever existing systems you have in place today. And I think that's key, right? And then secondary, we'll look at whether we want to, develop anything natively within the console. But first step, just to get you up and going, integrate it into your existing trouble ticketing workflows.
Hi, quick question about spend-based attributions at the project level. You guys provide that for resource-based commitments, but do you have plans to do that for spend-based cuts?
Do you want to take that?
I'll give it to you, Alfonso. Well, I think this is a roadmap item. Like that's basically the answer to that one. So we've heard a lot of customers comment on this, and I think this is something that we're actively working on and pursuing. But we don't have a timeline for it just yet. Okay.
Behind you.
Yep.
Just to be clear, on the anomaly detection, you're only looking back 6 months. Did I capture that correctly?
No, so the 6 months look back is to just analyze your spend behavior so that we can estimate a daily expected spend. But if you're looking about like historical, like can I look back at anomalies? Yes, you can beyond 6 months. I think, is it a year? Yeah, you can look back at like a year's worth of anomalies. So I can't hear you, sorry.
This might be a little short for, as it relates to seasonality in businesses.
So we just got there with CUD modeling. Give us some time. We just got anomaly detection out, but totally hear you. Like I think where we'll eventually go with this is what you're saying, which is like more configurability. Like when we first initially release something, we tend to analyze how folks are using it, and then we start to introduce like what you said, like is it working for you? How is it working? And then we'll introduce more configurability into it.
But just to add to that, you are right, but there are different models that operate differently. So 6 month is also an industry standard, actually. There are models that do look back a year worth of data, but 6 months is, it does still like accurately predict your fluctuations.
Okay, back over here. Okay, I'm going to go here and then there. Right on.
Yeah, thank you. My question is about the anomaly detection. I saw it very cost-focused. Is there going to be plans that include the sustainability metrics and carbon inside of the, also having that information there as well?
That's a roadmap item, I think.
I think that's a very interesting idea, right? Which is like our first foray into bringing carbon into the FinOps Hub is just to give people insight into it. But clearly the path forward is integrating that data into everything we do within the billing console and recommendations and anomaly detection. So yes, it's a natural path. When we get there, we'll see. Okay, I'll give it over to her because I said I would.
So on the reports page, there's very limited capabilities for filtering today. I think you have probably 3 or 4 filters. Do you have any plans to add more robust filtering capabilities to your reports page?
Okay, I think this is a good question, Rupa.
Yeah, I think like, are you thinking about any specifically? Because right now we have services, folders, projects, labels.
I'm thinking more.
Actually, Gautam, I think with the Gen AI release, we actually analyzed all the different filter combinations, and aren't there like over 27? It's actually very overwhelming. Like from understanding, and maybe to your point, like it's not as intuitive as it could be, but there's actually up to 27. But you can comment more on that one.
Yeah, I think we have 21 filters today, and then we
also. It was overestimated.
We also want to make it easier for you to go over to BigQuery. So, if you see something on cost reports, it should work seamlessly with BigQuery, where you have more options to drill down into your data. So that's another avenue in which we're helping you go deeper into your costs.
Yeah, continuing on some of the applications of Gemini into creating insights, I think it makes a lot of sense to accelerate that and using Gemini to have deeper insights. But has there been any thought into being able to add more business context into things about your specific business, how it operates, and to use that to make those insights more business specific as opposed to just billing insights or kind of infrastructure insights?
Absolutely. So I think that's a future area for us to go into. First, we want to be able to summarize whatever is happening in the report that you're looking at on the screen. And then we want to be able to, in the future, express it in the way that you would want it expressed, or do few deeper dives the way you would want it to. So I think that's a future item for us. Not sure when we'll be able to get there, but that is the direction of personalization that.
Oh, you were next, and then.
Specifically on anomaly detection. And I did not catch, can I select specific project and select specific resources that need to get the notification?
No, at this point you cannot select individual projects or resources. When we turn it on, it turns on for all of your projects. So when you set up email alerts or notifications, they are set up for all the projects, or each individual project under your billing account.
Yeah, to go back to the, Cloud Assist with Gemini. So is there a plan to, I know you talked about adding other cloud providers, so data to BigQuery to analyze. Is there plans to add, say, like different application data cost metrics that maybe have direct impacts to our cloud spend as well to help Gemini answer those questions and provide analytics on that?
I can, and then I can give it to you. So on that one, right now we're focused obviously on the 1P experience, but we've heard a lot of requests from customers on applying this, this technology to other spend, other cloud spend, and as well as other application spend. So stay tuned. I think this is an interesting area for R&D for us. Any other comments, Gautam? Sorry.
No, I think you covered it.
Okay.
So our services team works very closely with the product team as well. And I think what we basically take is some of the building blocks and kind of apply it to multi-cloud as well. So yeah,
that
that's the
actually
answer.
is a good call out. Yes. Oh, we have a new one. Okay. Oh, and okay. We'll go Carl and then.
Love the anomaly detection. Do you have the ability to alert on negative anomalies as well as positive anomalies?
By negative, you mean like downward spikes?
Yes.
At this time, no. So at this time, this product is focused only on upward spikes.
Thank you.
Okay.
So we purchased a lot of BigQuery slots, and all those costs are attributed to my FinOps project. Is there any plan for you to allocate those costs to the projects that actually consume the slots?
Who wants to take that one?
Yeah, so like for BigQuery reservations, there's, we have a blog post also that we can share out that allows you to understand a little bit more on how to allocate. I think what might be helpful in this solution space that we are launching towards sometime later this year is reservations and the ability to see them within our detailed billing exports. So you actually deep dive into actually what's running up that reservations and how does it actually contribute to the addition, et cetera.
Yeah, just add on to this slots question. Is there any plan to really show how much savings we got by purchasing those slots using that?
Okay, so this is an area that we're looking to actually standardize with the BigQuery team, is starting to move the slots mechanism over to committed use discounts and being able to standardize that with our tooling. So stay tuned. That's moving forward because obviously that one is loud and we've heard that one loud and clear from our customers. So we're actively actually working with the BigQuery team to onboard them onto spend-based committed use discounts. Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, these guys are all at the booth. Go talk to them, go grill them. Thank you so much.
And thank you. If you missed any QR code, we have all the QR codes at our booth, so please feel free to come over and sign up.
Thanks for watching. Check out more FinOps X 2024 content on our YouTube channel on the 2024 playlist. Support our channel by liking, subscribing, clicking the notification bell, and by leaving comments and questions for our speakers. We appreciate your support.